Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about your spending plan for when you separate. This tool that I received, I got from the top class that I was in. And if you would like to have this, just let me know and send me a DM and I'll message it to you. This document here has really opened my eyes to the financial side of getting out. I felt like I was pretty good with finances, but I think this really puts it in perspective when you have to actually put the numbers in and you see it calculating for you and how much difference not being in the military is compared to when you're in with the non-taxable income, the BAH, for the housing allowance, and then subsistence pay. So this first tab, this is your goals, what you plan on doing for the next couple of years, whether you want to be a GS employee, you got a corporate side, if you want to be independent and have your own business. This is a good way to kind of map that out. I've pre-filled a lot of these. This basic income column, just rough numbers, and try to make them all even, just make it simple. This column B is assuming basically a major or junior lieutenant colonel who's retiring, and column C is pre-filled based off of a GS-12 salary for the entire year. So roughly GS-12 will make about $72,000, and that varies. But as a major, you actually have your pay, or lieutenant colonel, your pay, your housing allowance, and your BAS, both of which are non-taxable. So monthly payment here might be $9,300, and how much you're getting paid as a GS-12, about $6,500. And that $500, that is assuming you have some VA benefits. You're going to have VA benefits between 0 and 100%. So how much you get from that could vary, but for just the sake of this, I'm doing $500. And then right here we have our deductions. This current column, this is based off of a lieutenant colonel major, roughly, and the projected again is to GS-12 based off of averages of what you would pay for each, for the average pay of that income in Kentucky. And then if you have a spouse, you would do the same thing that you just did for yourself. And at the bottom, it would give you your total current income versus your total projected income. As you can see, it's a significant drop off of gross income to projected income. And that is something that if you don't have something lined up right away, or if your spouse doesn't work, might be a shock to your system as you separate, especially if you don't have a lot of, if you don't have a high VA benefit where you're getting additional income due to any kind of disability you may have. This tab is your monthly expenses. This is rough draft, rough numbers. Almost all the numbers I have in here are equivalent, whether you're in or you're out. This is assuming that you want to keep your same lifestyle while you're in to when you separate. So if you look at this, almost all the numbers are the same, but it gets you to really think about some of these that maybe you're not paying now that you will be paying. For example, I didn't even put cable or satellite, but working with the internet. Does that change when you're in the civilian side, depending on where you live? I don't know. Gasoline, my numbers are probably pretty high because my kids play travel sports, so we're always on the road. This isn't going to be this high for everybody. So don't take these numbers as literal. This is just to prove a point. As you go down, the one thing that catches your eye is really the only area that increases the amount of money that you'll be having considered as expenses is your auto insurance, dental insurance, health insurance. We don't pay that now under TRICARE. We don't have to worry about it. But as a civilian, the average, and this is just the average that I found online through Kentucky, is about $420 a month. Could be more, could be less. And this is just for a single individual. As you scroll down and look at all the different potential expenses you're going to have, some that are not listed, your increase in expenses, assuming everything else stays the same, you don't increase or decrease in any other way, you do have an increase in total expenses of about $400, and that is to healthcare insurance. And then this is just looking at your home and your car. So in this scenario, we have a home, we pay $1,500 a month, and that is primarily paid off by the BAH that we get that is tax-free every month. The payments don't go away when you retire or separate, but your BAH does. So you're going to need to find out a way to make up for that loss of income as you transition out if you want to maintain the same lifestyle. And then the car payment, same thing. Car payment is always going to be there. In this case, I put a rough number of $500 as a car payment, whether you're in and out. And as you look at your total debt to income ratio, the lower this is, the better. And in the current situation, and this does not include credit cards, does not include anything else where you may have significant debt, student loans, what have you. Just the car and the house are $2,000 a month out of the $9,300, which puts you at about 21% debt to income ratio. And once you become a civilian, under the same scenario we just ran, $2,000 a month out of $6,500, you're at 30% of your debt to income ratio. Assets. I just plugged in some numbers here. Everything from checking account, savings account, emergency savings, TSP, your life insurance, any stocks or bonds. These are all just simple numbers to prove a point. If you notice, they're all just 10,000, 200,000, 400,000, all flat numbers. Your real estate, again, if you own a home, based off of this might be based off of what you think. Could be on Zillow that's telling you this. Could be appraised that way. Could be what the bank says, or it could be what you owe. I just have this there. And if you don't own a home, your rental property that you're renting out to people, and you may be renting a home and also have a rental home. So something to think about. Your vehicles, how much. No, they consider this an asset, but vehicles are technically, I guess, a liability as a decrease in value. And then jewelry you may have, give you a total asset, but in this case, $1,400,000. And so total debt liabilities, we had 2,720 or 272,000, sorry. And then for our net worth minus liabilities, about 1.13 million. And then the summary in action. So this is where it pops out at you. And this is not somebody just telling you the numbers. This is what the calculations come up with, unbiased, based off of the numbers you put in. If you try to maintain your same lifestyle and after you leave service, and you, in this scenario, are in a GS-12 position, and you try to maintain the same lifestyle you had before, monthly, you're in the hole $1,778. So where does that come from? How do you make that up? Do you change your lifestyle? Do you start preparing ahead of time? How do you use this to help you determine what kind of job you're going to pursue? Do you have savings to help you make up for that loss of income, or you may be diving into your savings to make sure that if you maintain the same lifestyle to get through that? These are all things that I think this tool that I got from the TAP class are very useful. I wish I would have had, again, I did a lot of this study my own self throughout the years, but I think this is something to be useful for all soldiers throughout their career, to just every year, maybe just do an azimuth check on where they're at, how much money they're making, if they were to get out, kind of what's their plan. Because what you don't want to happen is you've gone, let's say you do a 20 or 30-year career, and you think you're fine. You think you'll just, once you retire, you get the military pension, and then you just can do whatever. That's not the case. All right. You definitely need a plan for this. You need to take a look at your expenses, take a look at how much you're saving, how much you're investing, where you're taking any risk, and use a tool like this to help you set yourself up and your family for success. All right. That's all I got. Thank you.